I'll be speaking on ask, seek, and knock. Ask, seek, and knock. Now, these are three ways to relate with the Father. The reason these three things will be potent is because God is a Father. So, the reason you can ask, you can seek, and you can knock, and you will get a reward, and you will get a result is because God is a Father. Now, this is what I mean. Assuming God is not a father, if you ask, you seek, you knock, you are wasting your time. If God is not a father, then there will not be any need to ask, to seek, and to knock. It is because God is a father. That's why knocking, asking, and seeking becomes a reality. Because anytime you ask, a father responds. Anytime you seek, a father responds. Anytime you knock, a father responds. So the response to these three activity will be determined by a father. So if there is no father, then there will not be any need to engage in these three things. Now, as long as these three things are still in view, then that's the proof that God still remains a father. If you ask to know, if you ask to know who he is, then he will empower you to seek his will. And when you seek his will, then he will empower you to knock. It is as the door is opened that you will find his way and walk in it. Now, let me come again with that point. If you ask to know who he is, he will empower you to seek his will. And when you seek his will, then you will be empowered to knock. It is as the door is opened that you will find his way and walk in it. It means the purpose for asking, the essence of asking is so that we can know his person. So what you ask is to know him. And the essence of seeking the essence of seeking is to find his will. Are you there? The essence of seeking is to find his will. You cannot find the will of God until you seek the will of God. Ask and it shall be given. Seek and you shall find. So when you ask, what will be given to you is the knowledge of who God is. When you seek, what you will find is the will of the Father. And when you knock, what will be open to you is the way of the Father. And the reason the way of the Father will be open to you is so that you can walk in it. So asking, seeking, knocking goes beyond just things. It has a spiritual context. It's not just about asking for school bag, asking for money. No. When you ask to know who he is. So ask and it shall be given to you. When you ask, the knowledge of who God is will be given to you. When you seek, you will find. That thing you will find is not just a mundane thing. No. What you will find is the will of the Father. And when you knock, the way of the Father will be opened unto you. So you'll be able to walk in it. So asking helps you to know the Father. Seeking helps you to know seeking helps you to find the will of the Father, and knocking opens up his way to you so that you can walk in it. Now, you can't skip any of these three processes. You have to follow it orderly. The essence of asking is to know. That is why the reward for asking is receiving. So ask and you shall receive. Well, what are you receiving? You are receiving the knowledge of the God you have asked to know. Are you there? If you ask to know, then you will receive the knowledge of him that you have asked for. Just like in economics, the reward for land is the reward for okay the reward for entrepreneur is profit. Are you there? The reward for labor is salary or wages. The reward for land is rent. Now, just the same way we have this in economics, the reward for asking is, is receiving. The reward for seeking is finding. And the reward for knocking is opening. That's why when you knock, it will be opened unto you. The door will be opened unto you. I hope you are getting it. Now, so when you ask to know him, the knowledge of the person you have asked to know will be given to you. Because what you are asking for is not things, but you are asking for a personality. You are asking for the knowledge of a person. Now, after receiving this knowledge, then it will lead you into a place of seeking. Seeking to know what? Seeking to know the will of the person whose knowledge you have received. As you seek his will, you will find his will. So the reward for seeking is finding. The same way the reward for asking is receiving, the reward for seeking is finding. Now, after finding his will, then that will empower you to knock. Now, the essence of knocking is so that the way of the Lord can be opened unto you. So until the door is opened unto you, it will be impossible for you to walk in his ways. When we see a man walking in the way of the Lord, then know that the door was opened unto him first. Now, to get this point, to get to this point now, you must have started from asking. If you skip any of these three processes, then you may not walk in the way of the Lord. You have to start from asking. Because how will you walk in the way of the Lord? You have not asked, but you want to knock. It's not possible. You have to ask first. It is after asking. Even after asking, you can't jump to knocking. After asking, you need to seek. If you skip any of this process, you will miss everything. Because it is asking that gives you that helps you to start the journey. Asking helps you to have the knowledge. Seeking helps you to find the will. And knocking brings you to walk on his path, which is his way. So how can you walk in the way of a person you don't have knowledge of? How can you walk in his way when you don't know his will? Can you see that? I pray the Lord helps us in Jesus' name.